Hi and welcome to RCKicks. On today's show, well, we've got the Wild One reissue, just dropped in the UK, kit 58525, and we're going to do an unboxing. But not only that, I've teamed up with Night Customs and we're going to do a sandrail chassis conversion, a completely different chassis, and then we use all the gearbox and some of the roll cage from this one, and we end up with something very special. So in this episode, we're going to unbox it, take a look at what you get as stock, then we're going to look at all the Night Custom parts, and then down the road we're going to do a full build. What I'll do as well on the future episodes is I'll make a note of all the parts that you'll need from this kit, because it might be that you'd better off buying the parts versus buying the whole kit, depending on how many you actually use from this kit. So we'll find out. Right, that's enough waffle. Let's open the box and see what you get for your money. Now, the Wild One is an icon for Tamiya and a classic 80s RC buggy, which came out under kit 58050 on the 25th of September 1985 and ended in 1988. Then a re-release came out under kit 58525 on the 4th of July 2012. Then we got a total update with the Blockhead Motors version under kit 58695 on the 18th of December 2021. And we are lucky enough to have this one, which is the reissue under kit 58525 on the 1st of February 2022. So let's open it up and see what you get for your money. Box art, as always, is absolutely beautiful and a real icon for them. It was a brilliant move for Tamiya to do that kind of artwork. It really attracted youngsters to the kits for sure. Now, I don't know about you, but one thing I always thought back in the day when I looked at this kit, that it was actually a hard body, but it's not. It's a polycarbonate. You've got the front section and then the roof on there. The roof is different to the Jun Watanabe roof because it is cut out on the Jun Watanabe, but not on the original one. Then we have the driver set. Obviously you have to paint this up. The Jun Watanabe one came painted, as did the body set. Then we have the chassis itself. One massive great big lump as the bump around the front all the way back, and pretty much you just bolt things straight to that. And that is a massive part of the actual chassis. And then you get like a roll cage bit that connects to it, and then you get the gearbox on the rear, and then the arms hang straight from this sort of tub chassis. The electronic speed controller that I got in my kit was a Carlson. Then we have the driver and driver's head, some of the roll cage parts on the side, and then we've got some lights as well in red, painting up the driver face with bright red. You're definitely going to need to use some primer, that's for sure. Classic tyres. Oh yeah, great. Then you get the rims. There's not actually a great deal in this kit. Then you get the roll cage that goes on the back. We will be using that. I haven't decided whether I'm going to stick with red or whether I'm going to paint it all a different colour. I don't know. Then we get another parts tree, which is basically the battery box at the back. And then we've got a few little bits and pieces like the wheel hubs, battery parts. Then we get a black part tree, which is the gearbox itself, the front arms, and a few other little bits and pieces. That's pretty much all you get in there, and obviously you get your manual, which is brilliant as always. Then we move on to the little tiny box, and here's the stickers at the bottom. There we go. Obviously you've got to cut out your own stickers, and then this is heavy. Right, so let's have a look. What do you get in here? Obviously this is the bags that go with it. Let's have a look. It's quite heavy. C bag, battery cover, a few metal parts, and some pull ties. Then we get B bag, which is basically the metal gears. What else have we got here? The drive boots and the out drives by the look of it, and the dog bones. Then we get a silver can motor in this one, nothing special, but the cables are very long. Gears, servo horn, A parts, which is the shocks. Obviously these are the upgraded ones, not like the original ones. Metal, which are really nice. The only thing that I always thought that let them down was the actual spacer that you use is plastic, and it would have been nice to have this spacer in metal. Bottom of the bumper, And then at the bottom you have the plastic bumper. That is so iconic for Tamiya. So that's pretty much what you get. So let's cut away to a montage and then come back and take a look at the night customs parts. Now we move on to the super interesting parts from night customs. This is what turns it into a sand rail, and there's quite a few bits and pieces and options you can choose. But we'll start off with the main chassis parts that you need to purchase. Now the first one is the rear section. That is FA20003. You're looking at £37.29. Then you have the front section, which is FA2002. They bolt together. Then you use the up and over section from the actual Wild One, which goes over and connects to it. And that is your main chassis parts. You have an option bumper if you want to fit it. That's FA2001, £12.55, which just connects straight to the front. And that'll give you your main sort of like tubular chassis. Then you can put seats in it as well if you like, and there's 2 seats that go and sit directly into the chassis. That is FA2006 at £37.28. You also can put a small little steering servo. If you're trying to go for a very realistic one, obviously you don't want to use a big servo. You want to go for something like a Tamiya GY ASA55H, which is a small little metal housed servo. You can get a mount for it. I had a look at that servo. It's really nice, but it is a bit expensive, and I think it's a little bit difficult to get hold of, but you have the option if you want to try and use a very small servo. The next thing you want to decide on is if you want to use the metal uprights, or you can actually get ones that are more scale. You get 2 options with those. The shock towers, you get a 70mm option, or you get a 60mm option, both priced at £11.18, and they are FA2007 and FA3002, depending on which size you want. If not, you can just use the ones that come in the kit, the metal ones. But I think if you're going to go to this kind of level, I think it's probably worth getting those because they do look like proper scale versions, which is pretty cool. Next, fuel tank. So to hide the electronics, there is a battery radio box, which is FA2009, and that is £24.44. And you hide all your electronics in here. You're going to need to use pretty small electronics because that tucks behind the driver section. Then you can actually get a fuel tank that sits on top. So you really does hide it to make it look scale. And the fuel tank is FA20008, and that's £20.31. Other parts you can, if you really want to start adding some detail, you can go to a pedal box, and that is £7.65. Now you can, if you want to, fit an engine on the back of this to really up that realistic scale, and an engine is FA10001, £16.95, and it sits on the back section here, so it hides the motor in the gearbox. And you can get an exhaust for it as well, which goes on there, which is £10.10. So that's pretty much all the parts. As for the driver, you've got a few options, but you can use the Wild Willy driver from Tamiya. That will fit in, and then you can change the head to be whatever you want, or you can use a comical head or whatever. It's totally up to you. Obviously, this is not a turnkey solution. You have to put a little bit of effort into it. You're going to need a few other things like a steering wheel. You're going to have to paint these up, primer them, and things like that, and obviously do the details. So this is definitely a project, and you can't obviously take it bashing once you're done. You can drive it obviously, but it's not going to be one that you want to rag around too much. It's more about making a scale, beautiful, detailed sand rail. I have to say the parts are lovely quality, and they definitely have the resolution and detail that you're looking for to get a real professional job. Anyway, thanks so much. Please like and subscribe. And if you could do me a great favor, if you like this content, give us a thumbs up. And if you want to see future videos, don't forget to hit that bell notification. See you soon. Bye-bye.